Was Julius Randle injured to start the season, causing his brutally inefficient, historically bad start? That's what it seems to look like. And also, Carmelo Anthony talks about getting his jersey retired by the New York Knicks, and if he thinks that it will happen one day. We're going to break that all down on Knicks Digest. So welcome back, guys. My name is Chris, and we're going to waste no time today. We are going to jump right into the video now. The truth about Julius Randle and the slow start to his season. If you guys have watched this channel for a bit and watched me for a bit, I apologize for having to deal with my voice and looking at me all the time. But I am a fan of Julius Randle. I really believe in him. I am not one of those haters who just does not like Julius Randle for no reason outside of the fact that there are some things that he cannot control. And it seems as if Randle's ankle was hurt, or that's at least according to Stephen Bondi. If you look here, what Bondi had to say was Randle was operating around 70% during the first 6 games of the season due to pain from the ankle that he injured twice last season, which needed arthroscopic surgery in the offseason. In those 6 games, the Knicks went 2-4. Julius averaged 14 points per game on 27% shooting and 23% from 3, and he never got over 20 points. Randle also resisted attempts to sit from the Knicks, Bondi said here, and that Bondi said, or according to Bondi, a source said that he was too proud to sit, and then RJ Barrett getting injured also could have impacted that decision. He should have sat anyway. I don't care if RJ was injured. I don't care that the Knicks are thin at the power forward spot. Really, to have Randle be playing after getting hurt and having ankle soreness be a thing, they should have just sat him. I don't care if he was too proud to sit. You can force the man to sit. If you're Tom Thibodeau, you can force him to, and you should, because it's early in the year, and Julius Randle last season was the second best player in the Knicks, arguably the best player, the only guy who made an all-star team because Brunson got it going a little too late to get on the all-star team, even though he probably should have anyway. And then Randle, obviously, was third-team All-NBA. He had a tremendous season last year. When Randle has a point guard to work with, he is good. I don't believe in this whole 1 year he's good, 1 year he's bad thing. That first year, the Knicks were just a brutal team. They were not good. They didn't have shooting at all. They didn't have a point guard really. They had Elfrid Payton, but you know. And then obviously the next year, Julius played really well with Elfrid Payton. But it was also a lot of isolation basketball, and Randle had built up a rapport having played with Elfrid for the past 2 years, both in New Orleans and on the Knicks. So really, I think that worked for him, and then Alec Burks comes in and is the point guard for no reason at all, considering he is a tremendous spot-up shooter at the shooting guard small forward position. However, Tibbs didn't care. Burks at point guard. Let's ruin his ability to be a spot-up shooter for the season and play him in a role that he should not be getting played in because it makes no sense. And then also they should have kept him over Evan Fournier, but I guess Fournier's out of the rotation, so it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But Alec Burks is absolutely balling out right now, so shout out to Burks. Not his fault. And Randle needs a playmaker. That's how he plays well. He needs a playmaker to play well. And he didn't have one at all. Brunson comes in, takes the pressure off Randle to have to do everything, especially offensively, when all that isolation ball with Randle probably was adding up. It seemed like he was exhausted against the Atlanta Hawks in that playoff series where the Knicks got smoked. And here we are now. Randle seemingly is playing badly. It's worrisome, and then we see that maybe the reason is because his ankle was sore from that surgery and from hurting it twice during the playoffs and missing that game 1 against the Miami Heat. All of this is just a reason why Randle should not be playing. That was not that long ago in the grand scheme of things, especially in regards to basketball and how long the NBA season is. The NBA season is much longer than the offseason once you count playoffs. The Knicks were one of the final 8 teams standing. So because of that, I really think that the Knicks should give Randle his time. They don't want Randle to get injured, and then your season's messed up because you don't have another power forward for one who's really the size of an NBA power forward, or at least a starting power forward. If you look at backup power forwards around the league, they're all similar to Josh Hart's size, maybe a few inches taller, something major. Josh Hart plays taller than he is. But losing Randle will be so painful because of how good he is also when he's healthy. We have seen the man absolutely ball out. 25 points, 10 rebounds per game. 46% from the field, 34% from deep. Not bad numbers, especially when you're thinking that he's playing so much in isolation, or when you're seeing that he's playing so much in isolation. It makes those field goal numbers make a little more sense. Now, on to another topic. But very quickly, just let's make sure to hammer this Julius Randle thing home. What Randle said is that he had surgery 4.5 months ago, and it's a low extremity surgery. So you kind of have to think going into the season and just Julius off the bat was being kind of naive. I knew from the beginning that it was going to be a process. It's a gradual buildup. I'm starting to get better, but it is a gradual buildup. I'm just thankful for guys like RJ Barrett and Jalen Brunson because they've been able to carry the load while I can get healthy and get better. So that's why it's a team sport. I'm just thankful for all of those guys. We know Randle's a good teammate. At least it seems like it. Obviously, on the court, he'll shrug people off at times. But he's also angry a lot. He's just an angry player. So that happens. I don't think anyone has real beef with him. We did a video recently where Brunson was like, no, he's in a funk. He'll be fine. So yeah, I'm convinced Randle's going to be okay. His numbers are getting better as the games go on. Hopefully his ankle's not bothering him anymore. He is an incredibly important player to this team. I am fumbling my words right now. So that means we're going to move on to the next topic today. And that is Carmelo Anthony, New York Knicks legend, talks his jersey retirement or lack thereof with the New York Knicks. Because essentially, Melo's been to every home Knicks game this season. It's awesome to see him there. He's having a great time. Retirement Melo. It looks like the life is treating him well, which is great to see. He's got his glass of wine at every game. He's with his son, Kyan Anthony, who will probably be an NBA player himself in a few years. Melo's living that good retired life, man. He made his money. He got out of there. Obviously did not get his NBA championship, but had a wildly successful career, which saw him finish in the top 10 all-time in points scored, which is insane. Spent 18 good seasons in the NBA, sort of 19, but there was only those 10 games with the Rockets because for some reason Daryl Morey decided to blame Carmelo Anthony for the problem. I don't know. I think it's because Mike D'Antoni didn't like Melo personally. And that was really stupid, and then it felt like Melo got blackballed for a year. Again, really stupid. 29 of those other NBA teams could have all used Carmelo Anthony because that's the type of player he is. He basically fit everywhere that he ever went because he's just such a pure scorer that wherever he goes, he can just go right in and just get you buckets. Even later in his career, even in his final season when he was on the Lakers, he was balling out at times, but he looked real good. Obviously, he wasn't the same, and his usage went down, but he had that game winner. That was cool. He had his moments, still clutch as anyone ever, and his real peak was on the New York Knicks in the 2012-2013 season. He won the scoring title. He stopped LeBron from getting a perfect unanimous MVP win. Obviously, Steph Curry would later go on to be the first one to do that since LeBron didn't. And the argument was because Carmelo Anthony, without him on those New York Knicks, they would not make the playoffs in 2013, this is. And without LeBron on the Miami Heat, they probably would still be a playoff team. That's actually a good argument that I completely agree with. Not saying that Melo should have won the MVP over LeBron that season, but there was no doubt in anyone else's mind that Melo was probably the second best player in the NBA that year. And just to do that and be on the Knicks and spend 7 seasons with them, and yeah, maybe it wasn't the most team success ever because you had Phil Jackson making trades, like throwing away Tyson Chandler and Raymond Felton, and getting back Samuel Dalembert, who was way over the hill. Jose Calderon, who was somehow less over the hill than Samuel Dalembert, but barely. Shane Larkin, who, was, not to be mean, he was not fully, a great NBA player. I don't want to be mean and, call players out. That feels kind of ruthless. But, Shane Larkin was not exactly what the Knicks were looking for. Starting point guard-wise, when you have prime Carmelo Anthony there. And then they got Wayne Ellington in that trade also. Instantly waived him. We saw Wayne Ellington end up on the Knicks for a season later on. And then really everything just went poorly from there. And after that era of the Mike Woodson basketball really that ended in 2013. He was there 2014 before getting fired. But, in that 3-year run when the Knicks made the playoffs, after that ended, the best player who Carmelo played with was almost certainly either Derrick Rose or a young Kristaps Porzingis. Neither of whom is the type of player who is going to change your entire team's outlook. Especially that was an interesting year for Carmelo. He had some personal stuff going on. That was his last season in New York. It felt like he was kind of getting kicked out the door by Phil, which is actually true. The reason, or one of the reasons why Phil Jackson got fired is because he tried to waive Carmelo Anthony, which would have been horrifically dumb by Phil Jackson, but he was a horrible, horrible, horrible president for the New York Knicks and ruined the team and messed up Carmelo Anthony's career completely and called him out a bunch of times because Phil Jackson just is whack. At least in New York Knicks world. Outside of when he was the power forward on the championship team. I don't forget that. Well, obviously wasn't there, but you guys know. You get the deal. Essentially, I think Melo should get his jersey retired. There's no reason really not to. In my mind, he's the third best Knick of all time. First being Clyde, second being Patrick Ewing. Averaged, I believe, 24.8 points per game in his 7 seasons with the New York Knicks. And here's what Melo had to say himself when asked about it. So he was asked, do you allow yourself to think about your number hanging in the Garden? And Melo said that he does, but is it going to happen? This is New York. to go up in the rafters of MSG. It's like you went up in the rafters of the world. When it happens, or if it happens, then I'll deal with it. Until then, I'll keep looking up at the rafters. That just sounds like something Melo would say. Sort of cryptic and also sort of, it is what it is. He'll get his number retired. James Dolan loves him, and if you've paid attention, then you would see that since Melo got traded in September of 2017, no one has worn number 7 on the New York Knicks since then, and I think that happening was already a sign where they were saying you cannot wear number 7. That is Carmelo Anthony's number. We are going to retire it once he calls it an NBA career, and now he has. And maybe the Knicks are just looking for the right moment to do it. I don't know when that will be. Hopefully it'll be soon. It'll be a very emotional moment for me, considering that Melo is what made me a New York Knicks fan, and I know I'm not alone with that. I really didn't watch the Knicks too much beforehand. I liked David Lee, and then Amari came. I knew he was really good. But also, I didn't really care, and then they got Carmelo, and then I was like, okay, I'll watch this. I know who Carmelo Anthony is. This guy's amazing. And because of that, I started watching the Knicks, and Melo is and always will be my favorite basketball player of all time. So I hope that the New York Knicks do the right thing and retire his number. For that matter, I hope the Denver Nuggets also do. I know Jokic also wears 15. You can retire both numbers. It's okay, Denver. Just do it. Melo deserves it. He was great for you guys. He brought you guys back to relevance from year one, because he made the playoffs as a rookie in the Western Conference, and LeBron didn't, and Melo averaged more points and somehow didn't win Rookie of the Year. It's what it is, You know why. You know why Melo didn't win it. But yeah, that's really all that we have for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and happy Veterans Day. This is coming out on Veterans Day, so happy Veterans Day to all of you in America and just around the world if you celebrate. And thank you so much for watching this video. Subscribe if you think Melo's number should be retired, and if you don't, definitely subscribe if you think that, but also comment down below why you think it should be, why you think it shouldn't be, whatever your opinion is, and also let me know what you think about Julius. Was his ankle hurt, or is this an excuse and Randle's just playing badly? Let me know, guys. You know where my vote is, but obviously come debate me in the comments. I love that stuff. I love getting the comments, whether they're nice to me or mean to me. It's pretty 50-50 split, and I will take that. So with that, have a great day, guys, and remember, go New York Knicks.